Hey guys, this is Mr. Fresh. Today is Friday, April 24th. Today's the last day of e-learning for this week, so hopefully you guys will make sure that you're getting those assignments done, the ones from Monday and Wednesday, and then the assignment for today. All right, so I'm going to share some of our national days, the quote. I got a pretty good book for us. But before I do all of that, I wanted to remind you that today, which we're going to start doing this on Fridays, is that Ms. Wheeler and myself are going to be available at 2 o'clock. Google Meet, we're going to have a link posted for you guys to come meet us if you have any questions or if you want to just come in, say hi, we can talk about things, whatever. But instead of having like a all important, like we're going to be doing something specific, we wanted to just make Fridays a day that you guys can check in and ask us any questions you have about assignments, the assignment that today, so today's assignment or past assignments. So please, 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 if you're behind on things or you have questions, join us. That's going to be today at 2. All right, so Friday, April 24th, some of the national days today is Arbor Day, so like trees, Hairball Awareness Day, and Pigs in a Blanket Day. So I don't know if you've ever had pigs in a blanket where it's like little hot dogs or sausage wrapped in breading, like some kind of dough, and baked, and it's very, very good. Wow. One thing I'll do when I finish reading this, if I remember, I'm going to share. These are all the days for this weekend. There's a lot of them, so I might go through that. All right, the quote for today says, "We love the things we love for what they are." That's from Robert Frost. So if you've probably have never heard of him, but Robert Frost is a pretty well-known poet. I have some of his poetry in our classroom, and I like a lot of the things he writes. And so he says, "We love the things we love for what they are." So things that we love in our life, we love them because of just what they are. All right. The book I'm going to be sharing today is a really, really cool one. I love the illustrations. It's called Verdi. 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 So this is by Janell Cannon. And she was the creator of Stella Luna. If any of you guys are familiar with that, Stella Luna. So this is Verdi. On a small tropical island, the sun rose high above the steamy jungle. A mother python was sending her hatchlings out into the forest the way all mother pythons do. "Grow up big and green as the tree's leaves," she called to her little yellow babies as they happily scattered among the trees. But Verdi dawdled. He was proudly eyeing his bright yellow skin. He especially liked the bold stripes that zigzagged down his back. Why the hurry to grow up big and green? He wondered. Maybe some of the older snakes in the jungle could tell him. Verdi ventured into the treetops to look for them. Umbles, Aggie, and Ribbon were lazing on some branches nearby. Verdi peered at their droopy green bodies. "It's not polite to stare," chided Aggie. Umbles burped and groaned. "It's taken nearly 4 weeks for that last lizard to digest. I surely do like lizards, but lizards don't like me." "Why don't lizards like you?" asked Verdi. "Don't interrupt," Umbles grumbled. "Dear me," whined Aggie. "If I don't shed soon, this itchy skin will drive me bananas." Verdi tapped a tune with his tail as he waited to speak. "Stop that, Verdi. It makes me nervous," Ribbon complained. Besides, you'll never grow up to be properly green, always interrupting and constantly fidgeting. Verdi couldn't imagine being in such a hurry to be like them, and he really wanted to keep his sporty stripes. Hoping to find snakes that weren't so boring, Verdi slipped away. So there's the 3 snakes that he just talked to. Dozer was snoring in a tree not far from the others. "Hello," said Verdi. "Do you want to climb trees with me?" "I'm tired," Dozer growled. "Go do a few laps around the jungle, okay?" Verdi's heart sank. Greens were not only lazy and boring, they were rude. At the top of a very tall tree, Verdi gripped one branch with his tail and another with his little snake jaws. "I will never be lazy, boring, or green," he thought. "I will jump and climb and keep moving so fast that I will stay yellow and striped forever." Then Verdi let go. Look at what happened. From a distance, the greens watched. "Oh my," they chorused. Ribbon shook his head. "At this rate, he'll be lucky to make it to his first molt." Aggie nodded. "He's likely to put an eye out on a branch." Umbles moaned. "He may not live to turn green." You see him flying? But one day, Verdi's skin began to peel, revealing a pale green stripe stretching along his whole body. "Cack!" he gasped. "How can this be? I'm the speediest snake in the jungle, and I'm still turning green?" He raced down to the river, grabbing up a mouthful of rough leaves. Verdi flung himself into the water. "If I can't run this green off, I'll scrub it off," he thought. So now what's he trying to do? He's trying to get rid of that green. His frantic splashing caught the eye of a large bottom feeder cruising the murky depths. "Yum," the old fish hummed. "Lunch." Before the fish could haul Verdi under, the frightened snake bit him on the nose. "Ah, pooh!" With a blast of his rubbery lips, the great fish sneezed, sending Verdi into the air. Slapping onto the soggy shore, Verdi skipped out of reach. "Whew, that was close," he sputtered. Every inch of his body was covered with wet, gloppy mud. Kind of lumpy. Kind of brown. It sure beats being green." He left the mud on. But the soft brown muck dried into a hard gray shell, and Verdi could barely move. If he even budged, the stuff cracked off in jagged chunks. As each piece fell away, Verdi could see that his body was even greener than before. "This is terrible," cried Verdi. He pictured himself hanging around in droopy loops, itching and complaining and worrying all day like the old greens. He looked up into the sky where the sun blazed a beautiful yellow, just the color he used to be. Then he pulled a vine to the top of the tree. Launching himself from the treetop, Verdi startled a flock of colorful birds. He became dizzy with delight, sure the bright sun and his lofty speed would turn him golden again. In his joy, Verdi forgot he would fall back to earth. Whippity whappity foot flap wham! Plummeting through the trees, Verdi landed in a crooked sprawl across a log on the forest floor. He couldn't move. Help! He croaked. As usual, the Greens had been watching Verdi's antics. They moved quickly to where he lay. Didn't we say it would come to this? Humble said, shaking his head. Aggie sighed. Lucky thing he's still got 2 eyes. They gently lifted Verdi up to a safer place where they could watch over him while he healed. Neatly splinted to a branch, Verdi had no choice but to listen to the Greens as they gabbed. Remember how I used to streak across the forest floor? Ribbon asked. Quick as lightning, answered Aggie, and I climbed giant trees like they were nothing. They grew taller than you know. The things I dared to run down and swallow, Humbles bragged. Wild boar were no match for me. Verdi was astonished. You used to run and climb and hunt giant pigs? What happened? Ribbon crashed just like you, Aggie replied. I took a terrible fall and almost put an eye out. Then old Humbles here nearly choked to death. Now we all prefer the quiet life. A warm perch, a little sunshine, and an occasional good meal. The Greens rambled on about their days of glory, and Verdi settled in on his branch. Finally, one afternoon, Humbles said, Looks like you are ready to go again. He carefully untied Verdi from the branch. You are welcome to come with us, said Aggie. Ribbon agreed. The 3 Greens slipped quietly back into the forest. Verdi wasn't ready to join them. He wasn't sure where he wanted to go. So he just stretched and stayed put until the sun went down. He listened to the forest come alive. It's a pretty cool picture. The forest coming alive at night. Time passed. The sun and moon took turns in the sky. Verdi marveled as the full moon grew thinner every night. Then he watched patiently as it slowly grew round again. He wondered why he hadn't noticed that before. Verdi became so green that he blended perfectly with the leaves. He was so still that other creatures walked right by without seeing him. One fine morning, as Verdi basked in the sunshine, 2 small yellow snakes approached. They tapped and fidgeted as they stared. Get a load of that old green guy, one of them whispered. Do you think he ever moves? The other snickered. I seriously doubt it. They're just like I used to be, thought Verdi. And I'm now what I was afraid to be. He looked at his big green body and slowly smiled. How would you like to climb trees with me? He asked. With you? The yellows were astounded. I'll even show you my fancy figure 8, Verdi replied, though he was a little worried about putting his eye out. With practice, the 3 snakes performed a perfect triple figure 8. Leaping and looping with his little striped friends, Verdi laughed. I may be big and green, but I'm still me. The end. I'll show you that last picture again. So yeah, I just think this is a book that has just some really good Really good illustrations. And I like the story where it's about this snake who grows up and is worried that he's going to become these grumpy, old, boring green snakes. And so he still grows up and he becomes green, but he's still able to be who he is. All right, so I'm going to share Saturday and Sunday because, again, there's a ton of these national days. So Saturday, tomorrow, is DNA Day. East meets West Day. Hug a Plumber Day. Kiss of Hope Day. Pool Opening Day. Rebuilding Day. Sense of Smell Day. Telephone Day. And Zucchini Bread Day. Okay, and then Sunday. Some of the days are Help a Horse Day. Kids and Pets Day. Pet Parents Day. Pretzel Day. Richter Scale Day. And South Dakota Day. So there's a lot of different days coming up this weekend. All right, so today again is Friday, so make sure that you guys get that last assignment done. Please, please, please go back and finish assignments that you haven't gotten to this week so far, so I can get those grades fixed and changed for you. At 2 o'clock, if you have any questions about any of the assignments, please join us, Ms. Wheeler and I, for the Google Meet so that we can answer those questions. If you have any other questions, please email me. I will help you out in any way that I can. All right. So keep working hard today, guys, and I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye.